Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and every other configuration of being. I'm Dracosaurus, and welcome to Jurassic World Evolution 2. Today, I'm giving you a tour of one of my own parks. Now, it's an actual park, designed by, or inspired by real-world zoos and whatnot, and it's the most complete I've ever built a park. And the theme of this park is Campania, North America, specifically Western North America, where the Rocky Mountains are today. And this features dinosaurs and creatures about 80 to 72 million years ago. And we start off with, well, the opening plaza with a nice sign and, well, Alamosaurus skeleton, as kind of a teaser of what's to come. Let's see. We're gonna get hungry on this tour. Do I want hot dogs or... Oh, that's not food. That's not even a beverage. One hot dog, please. You seem pretty busy. Busy staring into each other's eyes. Okay, let's keep moving. So here's the main plaza. This is kind of the heart of the park, you know. And this is where most of the guests will be, like, even after hours when the rest of the park is closed. We have a whole fossil zone, like a mini museum for you to learn about our dinosaurs, including a theater, an aquarium, because everyone likes aquariums. They're a good way to get out of the heat. Very comfortable. And one of my favorite parts of this main street is this outdoor museum featuring, like, life-size specimens of, well, maybe not the dinosaurs we have in this park except for a couple, but yeah, still really cool. I like adding little touches like this to my parks. And before we get on to the cool stuff, I have to show some of the mundane stuff because people are boring. VIP guests would get a room here if you're spending several days at the park. You know, check into your hotel, drop off your bags since it's right next to the entrance over there. And if you want a break from all the dinosaurs and prehistoric adventure, we have nice facilities like a whole pool area, tennis court, and just around the corner here, a basketball court. Shoot some hoops. Just ignore that the tennis court sometimes disappears. I'm not weird, you're weird. Gosh, I wish I could visit here in person. Now here are some of the skeletons of dinosaurs we do actually have. We have a large Dromaeosaurus, not Velociraptor itself, but you'll see later. And of course Pteranodon. And ahead you get a preview of one of our attractions, a zipline. Is that safe to have people going that fast? How the heck? How is that safe? Ooh, I really like this water feature. So for those who don't know, North America in the late Cretaceous was kind of divided into two land masses by a great seaway that went down the middle of what is now the Great Plains. So there's the half of what is now North America that has the Rocky Mountains. That's where this park is set. Like in western United States, parts of Mexico, and Canada. And then the other half, which is not really featured here, is Appalachia, where we have like eastern US and eastern Canada. But forget that. none of that is important. What matters is the sea and the Rockies. And in this great interior seaway were all of these lovely creatures, including giant turtles, plesiosaurs that were basically like dragons, and of course, the real-world sea serpents, the mosasaurs. And here is one of our several underwater observatories. If we're lucky, we might see something in here. Ooh. Where'd it go? Caught a glimpse of a Tylosaurus over there. Ooh. There's one of our fish, Zephactinus. An ugly little guy. With the body like a tarpon, like a sport fish, and the face only a mother can love. Now let's continue our tour down the boardwalk. I would take the zip line if we can reverse gravity. And here is one of our stadium. Ooh. Let's zoom in on that Archelon. One of the largest turtles to ever live. The Archelon is closely related to the modern-day leatherback sea turtle. This is one of the more busy sections of the park. And there is the great prehistoric shark, not Megalodon, but the Cratoxyrhina, larger than today's great white shark. And in the murk you can see our Elasmosaurus. Not much to see in this kelp forest. I'm not sure why we, I see a shadow. That's a little terrifying, seeing a shadow, but not seeing the thing making it. It looks like the Mosasaurus shadow that, well, Tylosaurus, but kind of highlights how well camouflaged they are. Let's hope we can get a closer look at our prehistoric oceans. Nope. And here's a nice little rest area for you to sit, chat, and enjoy the sound of fountains. And luckily there's a restroom nearby. And here is a teaser for our next exhibit. While mosasaurs patrolled the oceans, the skies were dominated by pterosaurs like Pteranodon. And here we have our aviary, populated with our 2 species of Pteranodon. Aren't they elegant? Now we have 2 species of Pteranodon here. Well, that's a matter of debate, but talk to your local paleontologist about that. We have Pteranodon longiceps with its distinctive, more narrow crest, and Geosternbergia, the blue and yellowish one with the elaborate head crest. And here we have a nice little gift shop for you to get clothes, and a rock climbing facility for the adventurous guests. There's the zip lining, but I'm not really envious of the pterosaurs. They can keep the skies to themselves. No thank you. Here's a little teaser of what's in this exhibit. Here we have our first dinosaurs from Campania, North America, or, well, US. The majestic Maiasaura, the good mother dinosaur. Hello? She's curious. Hello? But here we have a recreation of the Egg Mountain Formation of what is now Montana. And in here, we feature species like Maiasaura, Euoplocephalus, and one of our species of Struthiomimus. We have a few. And, well, why talk about what we're about to go to? Over here we have a bit of a nature trail. I know this fence doesn't look like much to hold back several ton animals, but as long as the animals are kept happy, they aren't really bothered. Especially the Euoplocephalus. Now, this animal, on the other hand, we have to be careful about. And here we have our bizarre ceratopsian enclosure, featuring not one, but 2 ceratopsians. The bull-like Nasutoceratops, like recognizable with its horns like modern cattle and its big nose, and the bizarre Cosmoceratops. But it shows how strange these animals were back in their time. Nature was very experimental in its time. Or, nature is very experimental. But these guys would have been from Campanian, Utah, in the western US. They are kept separate because they are known to be temperamental and, well, they can get stressed out if they didn't have those hedges and thick walls between them and us. Yes, that's the sun. You shouldn't be looking at it. Yes, that's a mountain. Humans are so weird. And here we have some dinosaur nests in with a Maiasaura. Another guest area for your shopping and food needs, because humans are gonna human. And here we approach a main artery of the park. This whole boulevard leading from the boardwalk all the way to the safari area. Now, we're saving that section for the end of the tour. Those animals tend to be more active later in the day anyways. A nice little water feature, beautiful cherry blossoms, our grand innovation center in a statue of our founder, John Hammond. Now if we follow this way, you get a teaser of one of our biggest attractions in this park. The Safari Tour. A ride through time. And down here we have a recreation of a dig site not too far away from where this park is set. This is a recreation of the dinosaur park formation, so there are some fossils of Parasaurolophus, some Centrosaurus, and Dromaeosaurus in there. Gee, I wonder what could be in there for a fence to be that big. Better save the cool stuff for last. I need you to watch the end of this video. And here we have the Safari Plaza for people to hang out and mingle while they wait in line for the big safari or after the safari, because this ride can take a while. But luckily, since we have VIP passes, we can just hop the line. Flanked by a couple of skeletons of a couple of featured animals are Edmontosaurus and Parasaurolophus. What perfect weather for a tour. Now, this safari is divided up into 3 sections. On this side of this river, we have what is known as the Dinosaur Park Formation, which is part of Campanian Canada, like earlier into the Campanian stage. Here we have strange but majestic species like the Chasmosaurus over there on that hill. We also have Parasaurolophus walkeri, Corythosaurus, and my personal favorite, Styracosaurus albertensis. Sometimes we just have to be patient with these animals. As an animal larger than an elephant, they kind of do what they want. So there's our Corythosaurus. You can tell by the helmet-like crest that it used to make unique sounds. And here on our left is our Parasaurolophus walkeri. We have two species of Parasaurolophus here. This is our Canadian variation. Their large crests made booming sounds that would echo for miles. If you look ahead, you can see scampering amongst the bushes a few little Pachycephalosaurs called Stegosaurus. Not Stegosaurus, though easy mistake. Let's see. Let's see if we can see any Styracosaurus. Oh! Brace for impact. One last look at the Dinosaur Park formation before we move further south into Campanian, Texas. And here we have Campanian, Texas, home to some of the largest species in the park, including... Yes, I was about to introduce you. That's our Alamosaurus. One of the largest animals to roam the continent. Here we also feature the large Pentaceratops. Isn't it so humbling just seeing how big these creatures are? And of course, big animals leave big messes. If you look closely in the brush, you might see some more little Stegosaurus just scampering about. They're kind of hard to see in the bushes, though, despite how colorful they are. Luckily, our vehicles are made very durable for this sort of abuse. They kind of have to be. Honestly, I'm surprised we haven't seen them. Jeez. Good thing we have good seatbelts. This is why we ask you wear your seatbelts. But I'm surprised we haven't seen any of our other Parasaurolophus. They must be taking a midday nap. And now we leave Campanian, Texas, and returning north to Campanian, Canada, towards the end of the Campanian stage, on the verge of the Maastrichtian, to what is known as the Horseshoe Canyon Formation. Here, we have our Edmontosaurus regalis. You might think, wait, I thought Edmontosaurus only had a duckbill, not a crest. That is its later cousin. This is Edmontosaurus regalis, the smaller and younger cousin. And here we feature species like Pachyrhinosaurus, Euoplocephalus, and another species of Struthiomimus that, well, I can't really tell. I'm just a dino nerd, not a paleontologist, okay? They don't pay me enough for that. Why do you stare into my soul whenever I look at you? Isn't the world of the dinosaurs just majestic? Just take it in all one last time before we depart. Well, wasn't that fun? Let's stretch our legs after a long tour. Here's a beverage place. Some life-size statues of the creatures we saw. And some we didn't get to see, like, yeah. It's a big tour. You can't expect to see everything in one go. This really puts into perspective how big these animals are. Like, Pentaceratops was a true giant, like, and with our VIP access, we get to have a close look at our security staff facilities, just so you know how safe we are. Thank you. Everything is all clean and orderly so that there's no mess in case there's an emergency. a couple of watchtowers to survey the park. And now, back on track to a couple of our star attractions. The largest carnivores in North America of this time. While Tylosaurus was the apex predator of the ocean, the land was dominated by the Tyrannosaurs. Before T-Rex, there was Gorgosaurus. Let's not keep him waiting. You can see them across the pond there. Gorgosaurus liberatus. One of the top predators of its ecosystem. They are known to be social animals. Absolutely terrifying. And while Tyrannosaurs ruled the land and Mosasaurs ruled the oceans, the coasts were ruled by a giant crocodile. Let's see if she deigns to make an appearance. And there she is. One of the largest crocodilians in history. Deinosuchus. Its only competition were the Tyrannosaurs on land and the Mosasaurs in the water. It likely hunted some of the largest dinosaurs like Hadrosaurs, even other Deinosuchus. This is not an animal to try to wrangle. Absolutely terrifying. And now we're making our way back towards the main entrance of the park for the last stretch of our tour. Yes, that's some grass. And that's a cloud. I don't know what you're pointing at. Wow. A street light. Ooh. A street light. Wow, people are amazed by the sun, aren't they? And here we have our small carnivore sector of the park, featuring some of our smallest but most dangerous species in Jurassic World. Here we have our Troodon, a small, mostly nocturnal carnivore known for its large eyes and light build. It probably preyed on small critters like mammals, lizards, other small things like that. It was thought that, based on its teeth, it was thought that Troodon was venomous. Now it's known that's not true. They have a small sickle claw on their inner toe, just like their dromaeosaurid cousins. And here we have probably one of the most dangerous animals in this entire tour. Viewer discretion be advised. If you can see it along the back wall, well, we probably need a closer look, but those are our Atrociraptors. One of the largest dromaeosaurs in North America. Thankfully, this glass is pretty thick. You probably noticed that goats running around. If we didn't feed them live prey, they'd be getting bored and thinking of creative ways to entertain themselves. They're very good climbers. And now we are brought back to the entry plaza. And that's the end of our tour. Oh gosh, I forgot I'm afraid of heights. Don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. Why don't they give me a harness? Never again. Never again. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel to follow for more content coming soon. See you next time.